It is a hypertrophy, and today's subject is the best split that you have never ever heard of in your entire life. The type of split that's gonna get you 7 kajillion for 3 billion pounds of muscle in 72 seconds. The moment you even think of doing this split, that's right, my split. Buy my ebooks, damn it! Nah, just joking, don't do that. And no split's gonna get you extraordinary, amazing, stupendous gains. Whatever, if anyone ever says that like it's genuinely the best split ever for all of mankind, that's some bullshit. If they recommend a split in terms of like, maybe in terms of practicality, with some actually thought out arguments, I don't mind that one bit. I think that there's definitely some shitty ass splits, but I don't think there's one that's gonna be the best split of all time for every single person, because we all have different goals. For me, for example, I want to have the chunkiest fucking dumpy ever. I want a BBL. I want that shit to wiggle when I brush my teeth, right? I want that plus some huge monster arms and some disgusting calves, even though I have shitty calf genetics. So I was thinking to myself, I've tried many splits, right? I've tried a ton of splits. I've tried push-pull legs, which everyone does. I've done push-pull legs where you do push and legs on the same day, and then I did back on another day, and then I rested. I've done arm days. I've done days where it's literally, I do friggin' posterior chain and back. I like that split. Not split, but like, the day. I like the splits that use those days, because I think it's just hard when you have exercises you love that also target both the lower body and the upper body. But then I was thinking, I don't necessarily like the upper lower because I don't have energy for arms, or at least I don't really give as much focus all the time to your arms, when especially when you do push-ups and you do a bunch of push-up rows and a bunch of pull-ups and a bunch of whatever shit or whatever. It just does not feel right to then go into a bicep curl, and then into a tricep extension, and then to a skull crusher, and then to a hammer curl, and then to a forearm extension exercise and a forearm flexion exercise. I cannot be asked. And also the days are so unbelievably unbalanced in terms of how much work you do. So I just think, what? There's some stupid bullshit. I'm just going to do something that I want to do, right? I want to do something where I can do T-bar rows on a day, I can do deadlifts on a day, and I don't have to worry about, recovery for the upper back on one day or the glutes on the other day when I'm trying to do quads. I'd rather double down on the movements, on the movers, in the movement on those days. I would like to be able to have as many exercises as I like without having to worry about recovery issues. Because I don't want to have to worry about the actual fatigue of a freaking, T-bar row and worry about that affecting my squats. That's some bullshit. Why not just do it on the same day? Oh, but push-pull legs. You're supposed to put the pull exercises on the pull day and the leg exercises on the leg day. But T-bar rows are both. So what the hell do I do? I'm gonna get myself into full body. Okay, but now my sessions are stupendously long, and I'm always having anxiety about how the hell am I gonna fit all of the arm work that I wanna into it. Well, that's where I came up with the big mover, little mover split. What the hell does that mean? The big mover, little mover split is something that I've personally concocted, where you train once every other day, and you get yourself a nice bunch of exercises, a bunch of compounds, a bunch of isolations on both days, but obviously the bigger movers have more compounds. The compounds, they work out the torso, the booty, and the thighs. The smaller movements is like the forearms, the triceps, biceps, calves, brachialis, brachioradius, but basically everything that isn't what was mentioned on the bigger day. And you do 2 sets of each, and you have 2 sets of each type. You have 2 sets of each bastard type of day. Okay. Whew, my goodness. Recording this video is such a... I'm getting overheated. Let me turn the fan on. Anyway, you're gonna have to hear the fan. I don't give a shit. Anyway, You get 2 sets of each, and you just like alternate between the two. So you train that once every other day. You have a rest day in between, and it's awesome as hell, in my personal opinion. As you're seeing right now, I'm doing the big day. I'm doing the big mover day. Now I'm just flexing like a dumbass, goofy geek, right? I haven't got shit for muscle, but whatever. I'm still gonna do that lat spread because my lats are kind of overpowered to the rest of my physique. But whatever the hell. So. As you've seen, I've done the deadlifts and I've done the reverse grip push-ups. The reverse grip push-ups do target my arms, so when I do these exercises, the compounds, I actually do not mind having a little bit of arms taxed in there because of the fact that I have that day of recovery. That way I can hit arms again properly and fresh for the small mover day. And with that extra rest day, I have literally no joint pains. I have no elbow pains, no shoulder pains, nothing. I am freaking fresh as a rubber goose. I don't know what the hell that means. Also, I did Jefferson's, which I fucking love, because, you know, a lot of people think, oh, it's terrible, it's evil for you, it's so terrible, it's gonna break your back. No. And I love doing it in a way where I didn't actually do it super well in that set that you saw before, but I like to reach forward on the way down and really stretch my the scapulation muscles, you know, the ones that are like on the top, and you know, scapular protraction, you really stretch them up. Oh, you feel like such a nice stretch, and it feels sore, and it's so good. Now I'm doing some ring push-ups, and I'm trying to really get a ridiculous squeeze on this bad boy. So why did I really choose to split, among other reasons? Well, it's just fun. It's just fun because, honestly, I just like doubling down on the movers that I've already done in the first 2 movements. So the first 2 movements, as you saw, were RDLs, and I do RDLs with a band because I like to get a little upper back stretch, a little bit more proportionally to the deadlift, the normal deadlift, because I find that, you know, with the band you get more of like the tension like you'd get from a rack pull, and you don't have to go and I don't have a rack to really do a rack pull, so I get both the benefit of a deadlift from being able to lift it up off the floor, the RDL because you get the range of motion, and the rack pull because you get the extra tension at the top. But yeah, that targets a ton of muscles. So does the reverse grip push-ups. I like to superset them, and I just like to double down on it. So now I'm doing wide grip chin-ups, and I'm doing them L-sit, and I'm doing it with a dynamic sort of startup so I can get the extra ab hypertrophy, because my lower abs are total garbage, as you can see. I know I'm not really the biggest motherfucker out there, and I know that my armpits are hairy. Shut up. I'm not gonna shave it for you. I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, what's up, danger? Anyway, I'm really strong. I like to really try and push as hard as I could humanly can. As humanly possible, not because it's necessarily the best, most amazing, most optimal way of training, but it's for the soul. It's for the ability to really make sure that I know that I'm not holding back an absurd amount. It's very, very, very common for you to be a slave of your own subconscious. We are all slaves of our subconscious. It is really hard. It's a survival mechanism, okay? Especially when it comes to lifting. You're not out here trying to get, you're trying to get some gains. Your body is like, oh, hell no, I'm not trying to do this bullshit. I'm trying to survive off of the minimal food that we're probably going to have in the Sahara Desert in the year 250 BCE. No, 250,000 BCE. Okay, and I'm brown, okay, so that makes it even harder for me to build muscle, apparently, according to the internet. Well, who gives a fuck about what anyone ever says about that? Oh, people from the Indian subcontinent have terrible genetics. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna get 19-inch arms in the next 10 years. Trust me. Oh, I'll try my best. I better, because I've got so much freaking real estate. Have you seen how fucking long my arms are? Jesus. I think they're like 6'4". Wingspan or some bullshit like that. I don't know. And I'm 5'10". It's absurd. I feel like P. Diddy with it. No, I don't feel like that. I don't know. That's just been a saying that's been stuck in my head. Where it's like, this is absurd. I feel like P. Diddy with fur. And it's just such a terrible statement because P. Diddy is a bad person. He's a terrible human being. But yeah, I'm just trying to get a really nice squeeze and everything, and I'm really trying to get the cues of not overly arching. That's one of my main cues that I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to get. Like, I'm learning that from Jonathan Warren. Jonathan Warren is a guy that does a lot of biomechanics stuff and talks about the stack and everything. I'm trying my best to really prioritize that this year, because I've often, on chest exercises and other stuff, I've really arched and whatever, and that's okay for certain exercises, but I think people over abuse that. And it may show in their physique, like with my kid's Ratel. He's got ridiculous spinal erectors because he almost pushes and pulls and curls through them. Meanwhile, his chest is alright, it's alright for a person who's on grams of gear. His arms are decent-ish, but they're also a weak point of his. I'm just trying to not have that. And that's going to be a bit of a tough ask considering I'm natural, but you know what? If Jeffrey Verity Schofield can mock, well, actually, he's got redonkulous genetics. I don't give a shit about genetics. At least I don't want to, because, that's just self-limiting. I would rather just think that I'm going to get to Super Saiyan levels of muscle and get, like, a little close to maybe not Super Saiyan, but maybe just, like, base Goku. I think that'd still be good. I think that'd still be great. So, yeah, you see here, I'm trying to really squeeze out, like, extra ab stuff from the LSIT, because, listen, I am not gonna fucking bother being one of these influencers that starves themselves to 10% to get abs. I want to get abs at like 15% body fat. I'm not 15% body fat here, I'm probably like 17-18%, but whatever. But I want to try get abs that are so thick and rotund and ginormous and chunky that it's just bulges through the fat. Like you see here, right? My back muscles, I'm not incredibly lean, but I'd like to say I've got decent definition. I mean, you can see the little striations in the mid-back because of the fact I'm out here trying to develop that bullshit. And that's one thing I really hate about this fitness industry. It's all about the cuts, it's all about the shreds, but what about the chunky muscle bellies? Get that freaking proximal hypertrophy, goddammit. Get the squeeze in there. Get that detail from the muscle itself, not just from starving yourself and making yourself hate life. Listen, I'm Pakistani, goddamn you. I like cooking. I'm sorry that I don't like freaking plain white rice and steamed chicken. I like to actually eat good food, so I don't want to just starve myself off there. If I die tomorrow, I'm not gonna be like, I want to eat a freaking plain piece of tilapia. Listen, if you want to do that, and if you're on a competition or whatever, that's fine, that's totally fine. I just don't like the fact that it's sort of been pushed all over this entire planet. Just, you have to starve yourself to get some friggin' recognition or whatever. I don't care for. I do not care for that, and it's not good for people who are natural and have actual no access to 50 bajillion vials of tren. It's not the case. Anyway, as you've seen here, I got myself my own pulley cable station thing in my bobby. I'm pulling from one pulley here, but I'm just doing some stuff for my piriformis because that thing usually upsets me like a bitch. But as soon as I did this exercise, it pretty much went away. Well, not as soon as, but as soon as I implemented it for more than a month, honestly, I've not had a single piriformis pain. And that's like the side glute, the little itty bitty baby muscle, as the ball dominant man would say, is like a little sushi thing. And I'm out here just trying to, again, I'm trying to really grind because we are slaves to our subconscious. I went off on a huge tangent and I completely forgot what I was about to say before, but now I'm going to say it again. You don't know if you're actually at 2 RAR. You're probably at 7 RAR with your 2 RAR, and I'm no different. So the reason why I like to try and push to failure is because of the fact that listen, there are levels to this. There are levels to this, and even if I'm like fully struggling to get like another rep, maybe there's a chance that I'm holding back. So I'd rather just do the whole way through and like really than to risk it. And I do think I'm training to failure in these sets, especially this one. Like I'm legit. I just cannot get it out. Like no matter how much neuromuscular throughput, freaking drive, or whatever, I'm just dead. I was not able to push through. And I think that should be. This is something that I think people should really prioritize, because especially if you're a beginner. If you're a beginner, you have legit zero concept of failure. Maybe cardiovascular fuckery, maybe some lactic acid buildup from your PE classes. But failure training is tough. And I'm not saying this is a super tough guy. Honestly, I hate when people make it out to be like Mario freaking Pios or whatever. Oh, yeah, I'm in the trenches. No, the fuck you're not. You're really not. If you want to be in the trenches, actually be in the trenches. Like in actual, I don't know, do something with your life instead of just bitching about people's exercise selection. Oh, this guy did a free. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get shit for this, because if he ever saw this video, oh, he's laying down. Oh, he's doing supported exercises. Oh, he's not running every fucking exercise with his lower back like a fucking intelligent person. It's so stupid. Listen, you could train functionally, you could train not functionally, I don't give a shit. What really matters, right, is that you have a general ability to use your core, and a general ability, general strength in certain areas, and then you can do as many isolations as you like that are supported, and it's perfectly fine. You're not gonna be a paraplegic because you're doing an exercise laying down. People saying this is unfunctional, your mother's pussy is unfunctional. When I went in there, I was like, I should, that's so good. And then it was just waterfall. Her pussy was waterfalling. She was out here like, and I was drinking that shit like, right, okay, she is severely dehydrated. Talking to me about some dumb functional training. Bullshit. Listen, I'll do a belt squat any day of the week. Well, no, I won't do it every day of the week because this shit hurts. But I don't give a shit for your stupidity when it comes to functionality. I can do a deadlift. I can deadlift more than a lot of people in my area easily. I can do all sorts. I can do standing overhead press easily. So God forbid I do a couple machine movements. God forbid. I can do ring push-ups, so God forbid I do a friggin', I don't know, banded push-up, because there's a little more stability with that. Fuck off. Anyway. You're probably going to be thinking, why aren't their knees over toes, bro? Well, a few reasons. I'm targeting mostly adductors. Well, not mostly adductors, but quite a bit of adductors. At the same time, I'm also trying to not trigger my plantar fasciitis on my left ankle. Just because that's just cringe. It just hurt. Well, it doesn't hurt, but it's like prickly, sort of like static noise, like white noise on one of those old ass TVs. That shit hurt. Well, sucks more than anything, and I just don't want to trigger it over and over again. So I just banged into the desk with my freaking feet, because I've got like a little under the desk pedaler, because I can't be asked to do steps. So yeah, I'm just out here just pedaling on my little thing. Am I gonna burn any substantial amount of calories? Probably not, but I just like doing it because I like to stim anyway. Anyway, yeah, and the thing is, right, knees over toes is a good concept, and it's great for people who can't handle that sort of level of torque at that range of motion, right? I can. At the same time, I don't think I need to train it every single time I do a squat. Most important, I guess, is just the relative motion at the knee joint. So it's not necessarily the case that you have to do exactly knees over toes. You could do it knees behind, knees behind toes, and you probably get a decent-ish quad stimulus, just as long as there's a good enough range of motion. I try not to go super duper deep, because that just involves a bit too much hips. Now, the way I stick my butt out on the exercise, it may seem like I'm trying to target glutes, because a lot of influencers are like, oh, you stick your butt out, that means it's a glute exercise. Not necessarily, because there's not actually that much hip flexion and extension. It's mostly just at the knees. So while I am a little hunched over when I do those exercises, or when I do the when I do that, I promise I'm not stuttering just to be funny. I'm just stupid, okay? I'm genuinely just, I don't know. There's something wrong with me, and I do want to get checked out by the doctor. I'm being unironic when I say that. When I do that squat, I like to just try and get most of the range of motion happening at the knee, rather than trying to get a lumbar flexion and whatever the hell. I do have lumbar flexion, but I like to keep it at a certain level, rather than trying to arch down and then lumbar flex on the way down and then up and down. Not that it would necessarily be super awful if I did that, because the weight is at the lower back rather than at the top, where there's a lot more of a moment arm. Still though, I just rather just do this. Honestly, I felt it's just really good for me, in my personal opinion, and it's helping with the fact that not always, but I used to, not used to even, but sometimes I do get a few groin strains from random shit. I even got a groin strain, not a groin strain, but a little flick of a groin strain while I was doing the ring push-ups, just because my groin's stupid. I don't know. To be fair, groins can be strained pretty easily. Like, with arm wrestlers. I think there's an arm wrestler who just tore his groin. Straight up. So yeah, I'm just doing some weighted twerking, some sticking out my gap for the Rizzler. Who gives a shit? I'm really struggling on this. I'm trying to get partials, but it's just now the way that the cable works, I actually love it, because it kind of pulls you from that. It kind of gives you more tension at the bottom, because the way my legs are, the freaking my booty, it's like going towards the cable. It goes towards the cable, pulling my jibby bob, right? But the cable itself is also coming towards me, through the angle. So it's almost like I'm getting that sort of tension that people talk about with, the knees over toes, but from knees behind toes, or knees just over the toes. So, not over the toes, but knees near the toes position. I don't know. Anyway, I'm doing pullovers across a bench. I'm not necessarily sure if I want to target just my lats with this one, or if I target my chest and my lats and my long head tricep. It kind of is mostly lats and mostly long head for me. But yeah, I still have to. Oh yeah, there's me doing a silly fit. What the fuck, man? Anyway, I'm just trying to supersell with some shortened. I don't know if these are shortened partials, but a shortened moment arm sort of thing. Really just trying to drive into those lats and whatnot. I do sometimes get a little bit of shoulder fuckery from this exercise, but nothing super crazy. It's just more like I still need to experiment with the form. It's definitely not common. It's just sometimes the shoulder feels but other than that, it's definitely nothing crazy. Not to say that I won't pay attention to it, of course, because you have to pay attention to everything that happens with your body, because otherwise you're going to injure yourself like a dumbass. Well, not like a dumbass, because not everyone who injures themselves is a dumbass. I'm just saying, though, if you see a pain that's coming from miles away, don't go towards it. Anyway, I'm doing calf raises on this day because plantar fasciitis is a bitch, so I'm trying to get some blood flow in there. And I'm also trying to get some just general, shortened range of motion calf raises apparently give less hypertrophy. So I used to do a lot of really stretchy, super stretched calf raises on a bunch of days, on my smaller mover days. This is the bigger mover day, if you can't tell. But yeah, it just kind of gave my heel some pain, especially my left one. So I can't do the stretch, at least nothing crazy. And people always say, "Oh, just slow it down." Oh, I don't know, man. It just doesn't work for me. If I slow it down, I still get the pain afterwards, and it kind of sucks. Walking about even kind of feels weird, so I don't want to do that. So I'm just doing some shortened partials. Milo Wolf is knocking on my door as we speak, but I'm doing it twice the frequency I used to do. So it's like 3 to 4 times frequency with this motion. But yeah, I'm just out. Is this a repeat? Or am I dumb? I think this is a repeat. You know what? We'll just keep it here. I don't give a shit. It's a repeat. We're repeating this bullshit. I don't care. Anyway, I'm just gonna rant about something else. I'm currently scratching my balls because I just came out the shower, so they're clean. I'm a pretty clean, very very hygienic person. So I'm allowed to scratch my balls. I might need to shave a little. I don't know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Whatever the hell this is, I don't know. I'm mostly doing this so I can, practice on my speaking skills. I don't know if it'll actually improve super drastically, but whatever. So, yeah, come on. Finish your set, Yusuf. Okay, that's it for me. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed this workout.